Hello everyone, this is Nick here, and in this video I will be talking about 5 tips for buying off-grid land. This video is to help people buy land and not to discourage you all from buying land. This is only so that you don't end up in a bad situation during the buying process or after you have received the title for your land. So first tip number 1, why is the land for sale? Before you get into figuring out anything else, you want to know why the land is for sale. Number one reasons why people sell land that is bare is because first they couldn't build on it or it's inaccessible. You have to figure out if those two things are going to be a problem for you. If they are, then the land is basically useless to you and you should just cross it off your list and keep moving. Now, there's multiple reasons why people sell land. Sometimes the land is inherited. Sometimes people buy land as an investment in the past, and now that they have their money's worth out of it, it is worth more, so they're selling it at a profit. Next, you're going to want to verify how long the land has been for sale. The reason why you want to kind of verify how long the land has been for sale is one reason would be for knowing if the land is actually any good. If a land has been for sale for about a year or two, that's usually an indication that either the land may be so far out that no one really wants it because it's non-desirable. It may be inaccessible, such as landlocked or something like that. There's usually a couple indicators of if it's been up online too long, it's usually a bad idea. Also, it may have already been sold. Okay, so tip number 3, buying land sight unseen. One of the reasons why you do not want to buy land sight unseen is because the land that you are buying may not actually exist, or it could be that the person who's selling it has not even seen the land themselves, even though it does exist. What this means is some people, they will tell you anything that you want to hear in order to get the land sold. So they may say, oh, well, looking from Google Earth, it looks like this, and this land is obviously the best deal for you. However, there's been land where it's located on a road that doesn't exist. It's been washed out. There's rocks there, or the land is full of trash. It's just a lot of things that could cost you more time and money in the future. And there's been times where people buy land sight unseen in these auctions where they buy the land, they go out and check it. They do see it. It does exist, thankfully. However, it's not in a good quality that they can even use the land without spending thousands and thousands of dollars to get the land in a decent way for them to even start their homestead or off-grid living. So that's a couple of reasons why you do not want to buy land sight unseen. I can make a video about this more in detail because when I was searching for my land in Arizona, I did take some really good videos showing like the land that I was searching was within 20 minutes of each other, which you might think like, oh, 20 minutes is not that big of a deal. However, one land was full of rocks and boulders while another piece of land was just all sand, where when you were walking, the ground is literally breaking underneath against. Tip number 4, we are going to cover prices of local places and services. So what you want to keep in mind is how much things cost to get services done nearby and from local stores. A good example is majority of people who are living off land are going to want some sort of well, water haul, or septic. Usually wells and water haul or water cistern in this case, these are the bare minimums for having water on your property, and a septic is for controlling sewer waste unless you do compost. However, you are going to more than likely need a well and septic in order to legally be able to live on your land longer than 2 weeks, which I'll cover in step 5. Basically, well costs can be anywhere from a couple thousand on up. And in some states like Arizona and New Mexico, drilling a well starts at around $20,000 to $25,000, regardless if you hit water at 1 feet below wherever you're digging at, or 30 feet, 400 feet, or whatever. Usually have a minimum of what you're going to pay to get a well dug. So that's just something to keep in mind. Septic, on the other hand, has been increasing in price recently. When I first started looking, I believe you could get septic done for about $3,000 if you did part of the work yourself. However, if you had a company do it, it was anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. Now these days, I'll put the range at $3,000 if you already have stuff like a backhoe, to about $7,000 if you have a company do it, from literally you pointing at the dirt where you want the septic at, and then having them figure out from permits and all that other stuff, all that handled for you. So that's just something to keep in mind. The reason why you do want to keep this in mind is because based off the higher point of this price point that I was talking about, that alone right there could be about $32,000 to get septic done by a company from start to finish without you doing any type of work. And then a well, let's say starting off at around $25,000 from Arizona prices, minimum, regardless if you hit water or not. Right then and there, that is whatever you paid on those two things get done plus the price of your land. So yeah. Moving on to the next step, we'll be covering county and state laws. Now, there's a lot of county and state laws. Every state has different rules and regulations, and every county has different rules and regulations within inside of that state. So it's kind of like a combination of just different rules based on whatever place you live. And then you can't forget that depending on what county you live in, the city may have their own rules and regulations. However, usually if you're buying off-grid or rural land, you usually don't have to worry too much about city laws because you're usually outside of those I would say borders or county limit or city limits. So you usually don't have to worry about that. However, always check into that to make sure your land doesn't fall in city limits because sometimes they do. One of them are the top common one that you'll see when you buy off-grid land inside of most states or counties is that you are only allowed to live on your land in an RV or camp on your land, regardless of how you camp, for up to 2 weeks. Usually they will allow you to build a structure on your land. However, different counties have different maximum square footage requirements or maximums for whatever you're building. So for example, in some counties it could be 80 square feet, it could be 100 square feet, while other counties may allow anywhere from 300 to 500 square feet allow for any type of structure put up without actually having a address or actually fully or full-time living there, which is pretty awesome. The only downside is, like I said, for the exact tip before, is you're only allowed to live there 2 weeks out of the year. Some counties enforce this more than others. You have to do your research on that. Some counties even allow exemptions. You can search Google for counties that allow off-grid living exemptions. So that way you can opt out of certain building requirements and get your building permit faster. If y'all have any questions or comments about anything that was mentioned above, please put a comment down below and I'll make more videos about those specific comments. So thank you all and like and subscribe. Bye.